Hello and welcome to One Storyteller, where I am Reagan.
I'm Andrew.
Haha, he was off balance from that. We are today in Two Towers Chapter 9, which is Flotsam and Jetsam. There are two versions of Sam in this chapter, and I didn't meet either of them as we read through. Incredibly
Surely
sad.
you encountered those words a couple times during the chapter.
Well, they at least said the Flotsam word. I didn't catch the Jetsam word,
That might be right.
but Mary dropped it. And I was like, oh, he said the thing, and then he didn't say the Jetsam part. So, oh well. This is essentially the recap chapter of what the Ents were doing from the perspective of the hobbits after everything has happened.
This is the first sort of recap chapter.
The first recap chapter.
Yeah.
Is there more of a recap chapter?
There's a chapter in Return of the King that is
Okay.
very reminiscent of this one.
Okay.
But instead of Pippin and Merry catching up Legolas and Gimli, it's Legolas and Gimli catching up Merry and Pippin.
On like Paths of the Dead or something?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Fair
kind of neat symmetry there.
Fair enough. Yeah, I did notice because one of the first lines in this chapter is Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli sit down Merry and Pippin, and they decide to explain to the other group what the other was doing. So Merry and Pippin are going to tell about the orc chase and everything that happened with the Ents, and Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are going to tell about their foot chase, and then they just never do. So I wonder if that happens off screen at some point.
Probably. Remember, in the fiction of the Middle-earth universe, Frodo is using this as a device to tell the reader everything he needs to know.
Oh, that's
and he
fair,
already
I
told
guess.
us about the foot chase.
True.
Yeah.
True. I guess that would make this very competent. So it's another dialogue chapter primarily, and it is a second-hand, third-hand recounting of what happened, which is a curious way to go about things.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter begins with all of these people. If you remember, at the end of chapter 8, Gandalf had cut Merry off from talking in order to go and chase down Saruman, basically, or to go and chase down Treebeard.
Yeah, talk to Treebeard.
And ultimately get in contact with Saruman, probably. He drags Theoden off to go do that, and so Theoden and all his company leave, and Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are left to chat with Merry and Pippin by themselves. So they start talking, and by that I mean they start eating, and there's a great description about them eating food and how Saruman has his own food. For some reason, he doesn't like eating the orc stuff.
Yep.
Good employer.
It's yeah, that's one of many strikes against Saruman, I suppose.
He's a cool guy. There's a mention here early on that Saruman has his own stash of like man food, as they call it, because he doesn't trust the orcs, even though he employs them. So that's curious.
Yeah, men were his stronger and more elite and more trusted servants.
Yeah, the orcs served like outside, and the men guarded or kept watch or something like that.
Something like that. Obviously,
Men to guard the gates.
Yeah. Orcs and wolves were definitely garrisoned within Isengard. But
Yes. And outside, because they chase Wormtongue around. But that's a complaint we'll get to at the end of the chapter.
Who chases?
Wolves? Question mark.
I don't think so.
That's what he says. So,
he's the lion.
by the way, really? Then you have to explain something else. I don't get
We'll
the
get to that.
chronology of this chapter. I don't think it works super well. All of my major complaints come down to I don't really understand why everything is taking so long or so short, and stuff just kind of happens. Do you like this chapter?
I do.
Okay. Is it a standout chapter, or is it just like
standout? I like the Ents, so I like
fair enough?
the reveal at last of what they were doing,
They were very intish.
and I also like the previous chapter. but a little bit more so. We get, well, maybe not more, but we still get, like you said, it's a dialogue chapter, right? And it's not just the hobbits monologuing their experiences, even though that is most of it, perhaps. I also get some fun, just down to earth moments with the five of them.
Yeah.
Which is nice after, like, it starts out pretty bleak, So it's satisfying to see these guys all together.
There is, for most of this chapter, it seems like Pippin is the narrator.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason that Pippin's the one narrating and not Merry? Because I feel like up until this point, usually Merry has taken the lead.
It's true, and even at the gate to Isengard, he had. Well, one reason is Merry was unconscious for the whole orc thing, or for most of it. I seem to remember they start trading off some once they start talking about the Ents.
Yes.
So maybe that's all it is.
A little bit. Pippin seems to recount more of the battle of Isengard itself, I think.
Oh, interesting.
It's more uninterrupted.
Yeah.
There are a lot of paragraphs that lead into other paragraphs rather than having breaks between different characters speaking.
Yeah. Merry has like little geographic details, but you're right. Pippin is like the main storyteller of things.
He is the one storyteller.
What?
The whole time. He wrote this.
I think that's heretical given what we said in the introduction.
Perhaps. It's okay. I don't know that I ever posted the introduction, so I don't know that people know why it's named that.
Okay.
It's a secret.
We'll get around to that.
Eventually, when we find a good way to introduce it. So, yes, you have these two hobbits, Pippin primarily talking, but Merry also there. Merry's done his fill of talking with the outsiders, I guess, and so maybe Pippin is more comfortable with.
Yeah, well, even in Bree,
Gimli.
He was more sociable, more happy to. There, it was a negative trait, right? To
and
tell
that even
things.
gets brought up a little bit.
Oh, it does.
A mention of Bree and stuff that happens there. They get a meal. There's a mention of Entwater making people tall.
Base.
There is, that was a dumb scene in the movie, by the way. They should have kept that one cut out. It's not good.
Yeah. No, they did not do that well in the movie.
Anyhow, I don't know if that's like a weird magical thing that the Ents have with their water, or if it's just the way that they cook their water, but I don't know what else it is.
Well, I guess in Tolkien's world, it's some of both. Something
we would describe as magic.
Exactly.
Or something about that. Gimli is content with the food. Aragorn and Legolas want to know about the Ents, which is very fitting and very character-driven.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. There is a mention here at the beginning of the chapter that Saruman has some special pipe weed that is
long-bottom leaf from the South Farthing.
Straight from the Hornblowers. It's got their marking on it, and so it ends up being fairly recent, and that's brought up again at the end of the chapter.
Within a year or two.
Yeah. I think because I saw something yesterday about how Lord of the Rings is actually a Christmas movie because they left Rivendell on December 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So, thought I'd pass that one along. That might be the best Christmas movie, second only to the Christmas tree, obviously. They've passed a year in their journey. That's the point of why I'm saying that, other than to, make him squirm. So they've passed a year because Pippin says it's been a year. No, wait, I guess it's the year before last. Pippin hadn't been accounting for the time change, but I guess we're in early spring somewhere.
Yes, it's like February or March at this point.
Yeah. Unless Lothlorien took a little more time, but somewhere in spring going into summer.
No,
not winter.
They are in spring.
It's not going to snow for the rest of the season, for the rest of the books.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's a mention. I guess we'll bring that up probably later on. Pippin has an extra pipe.
Yeah. I don't know why I brought it with me all this way, but you can have it, Gimli.
It's a Deus Ex Machina pipe moment.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't
just comes
matter.
out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, I have a pipe, and he gives it to Gimli, and Gimli is happy. And now they can tell their story. Well, they can tell it in a minute. I thought it was interesting, and interrupt me anytime you have something to put in
Sure.
here. Aragorn sits down to listen to the story, and it mentions he pulls his cloak over his armor, and Pippin's like, "Oh yeah, he's a ranger. He's back to being
Strider
that."
is back.
And Aragorn's answer is, "No, he was never gone." Right? It's not that Aragorn is either a warrior or a ranger or a king or a whatever it is. He's all of them at once, I suppose, as the kids say. And so that's nice to see.
Yeah,
He's not losing his identity. He is growing other facets of it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I think more true to who Aragorn is at this point is like, even though it might look like he's like shifting or changing, he's being consistent to who he has decided to be and what he's decided to do.
Yeah.
So being a king up north meant, protecting people without making a big show about it.
Mm.
And the further you get south, the more warrior-y it becomes, because you're closer and closer to the throne that he's going to take.
More official, more political, I guess.
Yeah.
Less just helping.
So he looks more like Strider, but there's qualities about him are still just as relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, he is the same person. It just manifests differently depending on his situation.
Yeah.
Which is cool. He's not gonna be a hypocrite and do one thing and pretend to be something else, which I like about him. Aragorn's a cool guy.
Very.
So Pippin at this part, this is page 184 of the official translation. Pippin takes the lead and starts talking very briefly about their experiences with the orcs, and then he gets into the Entish stuff. Tolkien mercifully summarizes the stuff with the orcs that we read about in chapter 3. And
that just would have been poor writing.
Yeah,
several things if he'd done that.
Yeah, so I'm thankful for that. Sometimes Gandalf just talks and talks, but thankfully he chooses to summarize here as well. To summarize over the things we haven't seen, and then spend most of the focus of the chapter on Treebeard and the Ents raiding Isengard and everything that comes out of that afterwards.
Yes.
They do at the very beginning. Pippin gets his like elvish pin returned.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm dying today. And both of them get their knives back, which I think you said will be relevant later on.
Yes.
In the Pelennor Fields. Everything comes back to the Pelennor Fields.
It really does. It's crazy.
And yes, Aragorn had a cool line about that. One who cannot cast away a treasure at need is in fetters.
That stood out to me also.
So I like that idea.
Just a good truism there in the midst of the chapter.
Amen. If you're not willing to give up stuff, you're addicted to it, essentially, and that's no good.
Yeah.
And so there's that mention, and then they start talking about getting rid of Saruman and everything associated with it. So this is your opportunity. What do you like about getting rid of Saruman / what do you find significant in this? Because I have a bunch of random stuff.
Sure.
It's not well put together.
There is something very, very satisfying about seeing. Like, I think Tolkien's done this pretty well. All our troubles up to this point in the book have been about Saruman. So there's something cathartic just reading about Ents demolishing his walls and all his nasty orc barracks and forges and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that. Like, there's some pushback between the wizards' forces and the Ents, but the Ents never drop the advantage from their surprise attack.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying. I think that's a simple thing, but it's a standout thing.
Yeah. There's only one Ent who dies. I'm not even sure if he.
There's only one specific mention. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Maybe a few more did, but nothing too crazy.
It's a very biblical victory.
It is. Yes.
Where the good guys have 0 to very minimal casualties, and the bad guys are absolutely destroyed. Of course, it helps that all the army has left at this point, but
Yeah.
that doesn't hurt. The Ents go in to attack Saruman.
Yes.
Part of their plan is to use some other creatures called Hjorns.
I think
Hjorns?
usually pronounced horns, I think.
Brother, there's a U in it.
I know.
Is he French?
H-U-O-R-N-S.
Yeah. That's not pronounced horns.
Maybe it's Welsh or Finnish.
It better be one of those two. So the Hjorns, that's just what it looks like. That's just
You can say whatever
Yeah.
you want. I'm just gonna laugh a little inside.
that's how they're pronounced. Tolkien told me so.
Wow.
His AI
No.
the reincarnation told me so.
What's your
maybe.
point? So there's these
Um,
horns.
These are I don't know how accurate this is. Some of the details in this chapter seem a little questionable,
Okay.
and I don't know if that is just like
As far as
I
it
don't
relates to
think
the
they make sense.
As far as it relates to the horns, part of it is because they are mysterious themselves.
Yes, and so I think this may just be Merry and Pippin making stuff up.
Okay.
But they said these are the Ents who went tree-ish.
They do.
Yes, it's on page 186 somewhere. They see Treebeard won't talk much about them, but I think they are Ents that have become almost like trees, at least to look at. They stand here and there in the woods and under its eaves silently, watching endlessly over the trees. But there are hundreds and hundreds of them.
I see.
And so this is
So yeah, by his own admission, that is a guess there. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If that's true, then I was right when I said the Ents came to Helm's
Yes.
Deep. If that's not true, then that's just a mention that's just like maybe it's another hint that we don't know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But
I think I mentioned
a mystical
in the
tree
previous
power.
chapter, I'd forgotten about that line.
Mm-hmm.
I do lean more toward them just being trees.
Yeah.
Just trees. They're obviously a bit more ambitious than your average tree.
Athletic tree.
Yes. But yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
And having them be very angry and wild Ents who become like their sheep that might be more scary.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Are these? I don't know how much Ents and Hjorns are detailed in like appendices or Silmarillion. I'm guessing not that much.
No, this is stuff that was added back. Most stuff is Silmarillion to Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
but there is some backfeed, some stuff that shows up in Lord of the Rings that goes back into the Silmarillion. Ents, Galadriel, a couple other things are like that.
Cool. They're retcons. That's what they are.
You could call them that.
Tolkien needed a way to win the Battle of Helm's Deep and retconned an entire race or mental illness, depending on how you're looking
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, mentally ill trees who become bestial. It's the worst possible way to say
I did not follow that at all.
I'm good at that.
Well, it's not just for helping out Rohan.
Yeah.
It's a couple other neat narrative things.
Oh. Are they still coming up?
No.
Are they here?
It's from chapter 4, man.
Chapter 4. What happened in chapter 4?
When we met Treebeard.
Oh. I don't remember him talking about the Hjorns.
No, not the horns.
Oh,
just Ents in general.
Oh.
Okay,
I was just making fun of the Hjorns, not the whole Ents. I like the Ents.
Okay, I gotcha.
I just think their teleporting trees are very silly.
Teleporting trees?
They don't teleport.
No.
They just run really fast.
They just move fast. In the dark only. They don't like people watching them move fast.
Yeah, so they're like weeping angel trees.
That's like me.
Oh. How often do you go running in the dark? I don't like it. So they move very quickly.
Yes.
Very, very quickly. Like you can't tell that they're moving and then they're just there. Which speaks to me.
Well,
it's kind of like
this
the
is
Flash, but a tree. But like a whole herd of them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. there's obviously an element of speed,
Yeah.
but we've also had several cryptic mentions of this darkness that kind of follows and cloaks them,
Yes.
which isn't a normal darkness. It's sort of
No.
like almost like an illusion they carry with them, almost.
Yeah. It's like they pick up the darkness and run around with it.
So that's another thing that makes watching them move difficult to impossible.
Yes. So here's where the issue starts
Okay.
with the chronology, because I am a bit confused on this. The Ents are going to, firstly, the Hjorns aren't any good, and so the Ents are required to shepherd them. They need good guidance.
Yeah.
Which is nice to know. Secondly, I forgot what I was talking about. They watched Isengard empty out.
Mm-hmm.
All of the Ents do, which is happening. That's the day before. That's the day before Helm's Deep, right? Helm's Deep happens in the evening, overnight.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Into the morning. On
Yeah.
Helm's Deep. So
No.
so let's say day one.
Yep.
Right. All Isengard is emptied. Saruman sends out his forces
Yeah.
to go and attack Helm's Deep. They will attack at the end of night one and go through that whole night, and then Gandalf arrives at the dawn of morning 2.
Yeah.
Day 2. So the Ents are there on day 1, watching the fortress empty,
Mm-hmm.
and watching all the orcs leave, and then all the Hjorns leave.
Yeah.
To go and fight the orcs. Where do they go?
Yeah. Well, I guess they're a little slower than people.
So they're fast enough, you can't tell that they're moving. And you just look up, and then you have a whole forest with you.
I'd put more credence on this like darkness ability they have.
Yes.
Okay, you're right. This isn't the best quantified thing ever, but we just have to say they're slower than people.
But
it's
like,
fixed.
But they're not slower than
I
people.
think they might be. Like ostensibly, they are.
But didn't we see them in like 2 chapters ago on the road to Isengard? These men, like Theoden's whole camp passes through and then camps on the other side. And then during the night, they hear a sound and they look, and the whole forest is gone.
I don't know. I didn't get the impression it was so sudden.
But they didn't see them leave.
Yeah, because of the darkness.
Right. So I just have difficulty.
No, it's not very quantified.
No, it's not.
I can happily allow you that because it's very true.
Yes. And more importantly, this is not the group that goes to Helm's Deep. Because it's another group later on that Treebeard sends to Helm's Deep. It's not these guys, as far as we know. So we have an unquantified group of Hjorns who presumably jump the orcs on the road, or just kind of disappear and don't do anything. And we just have a group that vanishes according to the timeline.
I think some of them are staying around Isengard. Like, this group is hanging around Isengard or going back into Fangorn. And then Gandalf puts Helm's Deep on Treebeard's radar, and he sends horns that way after that.
You think this group is going back into...
Yeah, they're hanging around
Fangorn?
Isengard or going back into the forest.
But it says when... where is it? When they saw the enemies go, they chased after the orcs because their business was with the orcs and not with Isengard.
Touche.
They were far down in the valley in the morning. There was a shadow there that one couldn't see through. They had begun to move south as soon as the gates were shut. So it's like
Touche.
this group chases the orcs and then kind of, I don't know, just disappears. I don't know what happens to them.
I suppose it sounds like they were already heading after the orcs eagerly, but didn't know they needed to go all the way to Helm's Deep. Then Treebeard's like, Helm's Deep. You got it.
Maybe. How does he get a message to them? I don't know.
Ents are fast.
Ents are not fast.
Yes, they are.
No, they're pretty slow. They're not hasty.
But they move fast.
They, I don't know. There is,
They certainly do.
They don't seem to move fast. But there is
They see.
there are a couple of weird things,
Okay.
like the Ents who were with the Hjorns in the forest managed to somehow count all the riders and send word ahead to Treebeard,
Mm-hmm.
but none of the riders saw anything. So I don't know how they have like telepathy and such, but
No.
did one of them just walk
Yes,
and was unseen?
because it's a big forest.
No, this is after the forest is gone.
It's not like there's no trees.
On the plains of Rohan, I
no-
don't think
Well,
there
no,
are
this
trees
is when
anymore.
they're in the mountains around Isengard.
Well, this is I guess that was okay. I thought it was the Ents that like Legolas saw in the forest that had counted them and sent word ahead. I guess it could be when they're in the
Yeah, well, if it's those,
the
then there's
Isengard.
there is still a lot of forest
okay.
from that point, you know. So
Okay. So like
evil forest.
that's the main problem is there's a group of trees. I don't really know what happens to them.
No, that's fair. That is a bit more
I'm confused.
flotsamy than I first supposed.
It is indeed.
But
They jetsam all over the place.
that does seem like a weird detail to include. That
Yeah.
does sort of muddy up some other information we have.
Yeah.
Probably not
So-
crazy, weird. Probably simple explanation, but I can grant you that
Fair
that's a
enough.
little weird.
Other weird complaint.
Oh no,
Half orcs?
we've had those mentioned in conjunction with Saruman before.
Well, yeah, it's a weird thought.
Yeah, well, Tolkien does not talk about this at length. Bless him.
Not at all.
But this is a sign of like, I don't know.
Orcs are not good.
Well, no, and this is something does not seem that Saruman has pursued in his orcish strengthening programs in Mordor. But Saruman is
Not licensed.
Saruman. We had a line last time when we were having Orthanc and Isengard described to us that Saruman is supposing like he's unique and like adding new things to Sauron's plans and doing
Mhm.
his own personal powerful pursuits.
Yeah.
But he's doing the same thing that Sauron's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you do get it's like Ecclesiastes idea, which I think we also brought up last time in connection there. Like nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how you slice it, it's like, okay, well, that's certainly not literal. There haven't always been airplanes, right? But it's like people are the same,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And like the things on the inside, which are more important, those do stay the same.
Yeah.
So this is the terrifying first time that half-orcs are ever mentioned in the history of Middle-earth. And that's totally the fault of Saruman. But it's just indicative of the same problems of Sauron and other creatures and people like him.
Mhm.
Hurting people, orcs themselves, we talked about before, messed up monsters. Depending on which interpretation you go with from Tolkien, there's some kind of corruption going on there from ancient days.
Yeah.
So it's all very, very terrible. And Saruman has these better orcs by hurting people and orcs.
Saruman's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I don't like him
It's
very
all in the
much.
name of progress. Also, he doesn't trust the half orcs or orcs. It's
Fair.
yeah. The more you think about Orthanc and Isengard here, it just sounds it's very messed up
Mm-hmm.
and tragic.
Mm-hmm.
Treebeard in chapter 4 said, "A wizard should know better."
Yeah.
And he really should.
That line has aged very well.
It has. It's a good line.
So, speaking of the half-orcs, Saruman, there was a half-orc southerner in Bree all the way back in
Yeah.
Fellowship.
Now they have enough information to say, okay, that guy must have been a half orc.
Yeah. And presumably, Saruman sent him to spy, which would make sense. There's a mention of, we don't know if it's like with Sauron or without him, or like,
Yeah.
why is this happening? Who all's involved? And then there's a line, it is difficult with these evil folk to know when they are in league and when they are cheating on each other.
Yes.
Which is a great
Isn't that-
line.
That's also a good line.
I love that one. And then they move on. The Hjorns chase the orcs, and the Ents deal with Isengard by themselves for the moment. But the Hjorns will be back, or a different group of Hjorns.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
there.
them. I think there's certainly several
hundreds
groups.
and hundreds.
Yeah.
So there's kind of I feel like all of this plays into a basic idea. Saruman has been decreasing in his power, whereas Gandalf has only been increasing in his power. But the Saruman has gone downhill, like spiritually and mentally and righteously.
His whole person.
He's lost all of those things. The Ents are the force that take him down physically, but it's because of all the corruption that he's done before. Saruman is not a righteous person who's getting taken off the throne. He is a horrible person who is getting his just desserts eventually, which is a very judgment of God kind of picture, which is cool. I don't have anything else. Sorry,
Okay.
Did you have something?
Yeah, I think so. That idea of Gandalf increasing while Saruman decreases. This would take too long to talk about, and I don't think Tolkien is trying to suggest something exactly like this. If there are any hardcore Tolkien nerds about to hear this,
That's me.
So Sauron makes the One Ring, right?
Yep.
And he's able to be destroyed by it later.
Yep.
Because when it's destroyed, because he invested a lot of his magic and personal power into it, is the explanation. Morgoth, before Sauron, never made a ring. But Tolkien says Morgoth got weaker than the other Valar, those angelic beings in the West, because he invested so much of his malice and magic into the world itself. And sometimes Tolkien calls that the Ring of Morgoth, is Middle Earth.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because he wanted to like destroy, corrupt, make the world like him, but that in turn made like his like personal power specifically a lot weaker. Like he lost a duel to an elf one time, right?
Oh.
Even though he's this really powerful, like he was a great elf, right? But still an elf against the Valar, you know.
Interesting.
And so there's some things that kind of remind me of that with Saruman, because he's invested a lot of himself. Tolkien never says like he poured magic into it or whatever, but into like the creation of half-orcs, all these machines, turning Isengard from like a fortress of knowledge into a corrupted military base.
Yeah.
And once that's destroyed, Saruman's powers are sort of off the table. That's interesting. Another thing that I think maybe is explained more later, but I think mentioned in this chapter, is Saruman is much less hands-on than Gandalf. Could be another part of this explanation. Like he has magic of deceiving and persuading people and of crafting rings. He's not like a fight Nazgul kind of wizard, it doesn't seem.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. There's also a weird mention that Orthanc is not Saruman's creation.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know whose it
we
is.
mentioned it. It was in the previous chapter, Road to Isengard. This is another thing created by the Númenóreans.
Okay. So, oh yeah, you're right. Just like Helm's Deep is, sort of. So Saruman, the Ents can't tear down the tower itself because that has, and I guess with the Númenóreans, it's mostly a good force behind it. It's mostly
originally
decently righteous until they weren't.
Yeah.
Like Rings of Power shows us, you know,
my.
when they go corrupt. Just remember, the sea is always right. Amen.
Oh boy.
I hate it so much, man. I should hate watch season 2, I think. I've got so many better things to do with my time. But why not? So when Saruman makes it into Orthanc proper, he is not caught up in all the destruction. When the Ents come, they rip through his outer ring just fine,
Yes.
but he makes it into the tower, and then the Ents
Yeah.
can't
Very
actually.
barely, we should say.
Yes.
It's sort of a funny picture because they don't see him initially, but given how he's frantically running toward the tower, part of the Pippin's description, they're like, he must have been watching his grand army march off to war from the outer gates.
Yeah.
And then the Ents start tearing the gate down.
Yeah. I can't even call him back. What a silly guy. Yeah, he makes it into the tower. Then he turns on a bunch of machines and burns several Ents, probably kills one of them.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Sounds right. And then the Ents get actually angry. Before they were just like relatively peaceful.
Well, you
rifting
can
through
you
his
can
wall.
get more angry.
Um,
So I think they started angry and got a lot more angry.
Yes, sir. And they are very, very mad, and so they try to figure out something they can do to take out the rest of Isengard and everything that Saruman's doing, because he's turning on like the vents underground and burning them. So we got to take those things out.
Yeah.
I think is how it goes. So they summon the Hjorns, group number 2, let's call them.
Sure.
And the Hjorns dig a bunch of like dams, stock up a bunch of water, and then they'll flood Isengard,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Mm.
Although you don't get the glorious line of Treebeard saying "break the dam," so it's kind of sad.
That's true.
He just does it for fun. A great line. You ever play Lego Lord of the Rings?
Of course.
Do you ever craft the
Break the dam.
the mithril disco
Yes.
file? Is a great time.
Release the river. The river.
If you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Lego Lord of the Rings disco file.
Yes.
Incredible.
Glorious. I love it. It's a great time. It's terrible, but it's a great time. So you have all of that happening, and basically over the next little bit of time, Treebeard floods the entirety of Isengard and puts a stop to all of this silly nonsense that's going to happen.
This is clearly a much smaller scale, right? There's
Mhm.
something unsubtly biblical about this.
Mhm.
You have filled this once good place with corruption, so now it has to be overwhelmed and washed away.
Mhm. The filth of Isengard is washing away.
Yes.
That's a good line. This is presumably the evening of day 1, I think,
Seems to be.
because the orcs left the morning of day 1 to go attack Helm's Deep.
They left at night.
The night of day 0 to go attack
Yes,
Helm's Deep,
yes.
something like that. Ents are attacking sometime throughout the day of day 1.
Okay.
And
There we go.
it's at the end of day 1 as the orcs are marching on Helm's Deep that Treebeard is approached by Gandalf.
Mm-hmm.
Gandalf lets him know a bunch of things that are happening. Treebeard says, "I'm sending a forest," and by the beginning of day 2, Gandalf shows up with a whole forest at Helm's Deep.
Yeah. Dawn of day 2.
Yes. So we're not privy to the whole conversation that gets them there, but we are told Gandalf shows up, and instead of being happy to see Pippin, he's just like, "Give me Treebeard. Where's Treebeard?" And then they go.
He does talk to him a little bit later, but
Probably.
Gandalf does not miss an opportunity to tease Pippin. It
Yeah.
was like, "You're alive." He's like, "Where's Treebeard?"
Yeah. Well, he's got more important things to do than
Yeah.
hang out right
That's
now.
true.
He is already summoning all of these different individuals to go and bury people or go protect Edoras or go to Helm's Deep. Like, he does not have a minute to waste if we're going to believe that was able to happen. So this is very
Of course
fitting.
it
If he
could.
stopped
It happened.
and had a conversation here, I would be mad about it because it wouldn't make any sense. But
Okay. Well.
he doesn't. So
Okay.
based. Tolkien knew what he was doing. Everything is forgiven. Gandalf didn't talk this time. Glorious. Isengard is flooded.
Mhm.
Merry and Pippin get to watch it. Almost drown a little bit, but they get out. They make it out onto the ramparts and get to watch all the water They get some food.
Oh
get to
no,
hang out.
the dams are broken.
Yeah.
The night after Gandalf talked to him. Okay.
Yeah. So it floods overnight while Helm's Deep is happening, and while the orcs are like, climbing through the hole in the wall and stuff like that. The Saruman looks like he's winning if you just look at Helm's Deep, but if you actually look at Saruman himself, he's lost everything, and it's a glorious picture. So you have this is the moment where Wormtongue shows up at the morning of day 2, I think.
So the same time Gandalf arrives at Helm's Deep, Wormtongue arrives at Isengard.
Yeah, roughly. What has he been doing this whole time? Because he came straight from Edoras in the time that it took Theoden to ride down all the way to Helm's Deep and then get into a whole fight, and then Gandalf to deliver him.
Yeah.
And Wormtongue has made it like 2 days' journey in the however many days it took. He says he was diverted far to the north being chased by wolves.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I see.
I don't know what he's actually doing. Because if the wolves are on Saruman's side, it doesn't make sense for him to be chased by them.
Yeah.
He's pretending to be a good guy up until Treebeard reveals that he knows.
Well.
Or something.
He is pretending to be a good guy. Being chased by wolves does kind of put you in that camp by default.
True.
But we did read the wolves have turned on the orcs in the previous chapter.
True.
So maybe Wormtongue is not lying.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not lying, if he is lying, maybe he's going like a little bit slower than we'd expect.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's so egregious. I mean, he's not on a horse as fast as Shadowfax is.
True.
And he has a pretty cushy palace life, so maybe he doesn't want to ride super fast. So I don't think it would take a huge delay to justify this time arrival, but you're right, it would need something. Either what he mentions here or even something more minor, perhaps.
At least on my map, I guess Edoras is further southeast than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So it seems closer to Helm's Deep than it is to Isengard.
Yes.
So maybe that is just a legitimate.
Yeah. I think that's how I would
time.
lean. Yeah.
Okay. I'm envisioning Edoras a lot further north than it is. Okay. Interesting. Then that one's on me, maybe.
No. I can understand why you would scratch your head at that.
The point is, Wormtongue is coming with a message from Theoden to Saruman, which is not wrong.
It's so funny. It really is.
And then he sees everything flooded and says, well, I guess the message doesn't work anymore. Bye. And he is not allowed to go and leave.
I wonder, it's interesting though, because if Saruman had waited, because we know he kind of jumped the gun on the attack because he was afraid Theoden had the ring or something.
Hasty, unlike the Ents.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were being sarcastic.
I was, but then I was also right. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fair.
Oh, okay. Well, I take my apology back.
Okay, good.
But because Saruman jumped the gun, he does not know Gandalf is on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know Aragorn is on the scene either.
True.
He doesn't learn all that, I don't think, until too late.
Yeah.
That might have changed
not
some things
until
for
they
him.
show up.
Yeah, he does have the Palantir, but
yeah,
he does seem kind of taken off guard by at least Gandalf being here.
Yeah.
And so he only would have had to wait a day to get news, a day or two to get news from Wormtongue. But he was too scared.
Oh well. Silly guy. What a terrible thing. Wormtongue tries to get out. Treebeard says no. And this is an interesting interaction, I think, with Treebeard and Wormtongue. Wormtongue is given two options. Number one, he can stay with Treebeard on the outside, not having to cross the flooded plain to get into Orthanc. And you can stay and wait for Gandalf and your master, allegedly. Or he can cross the water and go to Saruman, is the question. And for a book that has been very insistent that crossing the water is a good thing, this is not a good thing.
No. And there's several clues to, like, you should treat this, and it's obviously just a natural reading of it also, right? But there's several reasons you can say, okay, this is kind of an inversion of the theme we've already been seeing.
Very cool. How do you see that?
It's very dirty water right now. And, like, obviously the context around it helps there.
It's also, there's not much water. Like, it's not that difficult to walk across.
This isn't like crossing a river or an ocean. Like, this is scummy, fetid waters. Waters
that are not clean enough for trees to drink or wash in. Even.
Yeah, that's got to be nasty water.
Later on, after it's clean, like, filtered out for a few hours, then it's clean enough to drink, but it takes a while to get there.
Yeah.
And so this is the anti-moment. This is it would be better for you to stay on this side.
Yeah.
Because Wormtongue is more comfortable when he crosses the water and goes to Saruman.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And so there's an obstacle in the way of his comfort, but he would rather be comfortable.
Yeah. Oh.
And go into the darkness.
The way you summarized that was excellent. Thank you.
Terrible.
No, it's
nasty.
This is so pitiful and just so sad, isn't it?
He's such a loser.
It's so sad, man.
He is.
I do think it's much clearer in retrospect as you're reading through, but Wormtongue, because we spend more time with him, and to a lesser extent Saruman, are both preparing us for the second half of the book, which is very, like, so focused on this dynamics between Frodo and Smeagol. Yeah, because they have different flavors of the same problem.
Yeah.
I've
multiple personality disorder.
Well, no, but this unwillingness to let go of these things that are bad for you, simply put. Yeah. Smeagol has the best excuse of anybody. But no, it's just so sad. Like, there's even an obstacle there. Treebeard says, you could wait here. But you gotta imagine it's a mix of shame or sunk cost fallacy, right? Like, and just also just been so poisoned. Like, he wants the same thing Saruman wants now. Like, he doesn't want to let go of. Well, Saruman would have been like leader of Edoras. Could have been rich and had Eowyn and all those other things we see that were promised him. And so he's willing. There's no hope with Saruman. He's on a flooded island with no friends.
Yeah. And Wormtongue sees it, which is why he wants to leave.
and then Wormtongue goes there anyway. And there's this amount of fear as well. Theoden did say, if I see you again, it's not going to go so well.
Yeah.
So you can understand that trepidation. But there's a difference between riding with orcs against Theoden and groveling on your knees begging for forgiveness.
Yeah.
I think Theoden and even Gandalf would have been merciful in that situation.
Yeah, it's almost like Wormtongue believes the lie that he's told about Rohan, because Saruman's line is, they're going to torture and kill. They like burn people alive who they capture. And the reality is, I just got a phone call that hung up within a second. It's a good time. And the reality is that there's, like, they don't hurt their enemies. They employ them for a little while, and then they let them go back home peacefully. Granted, that was Erkenbrand and not Theoden, but it sets a pattern.
It does,
where
definitely.
Wormtongue would have this kind of mentality of how horrible Rohan is, but they're not actually that bad. Like, they're pretty fair people, is
Yeah.
how we're introduced to them in everything we've ever seen.
Yeah, that's right.
But he believes his own lie, and so goes away into darkness. Rip Wormtongue. It's not going to end up well for him
It is.
in the end.
It's not. And this is the second of 4 choices we see Wormtongue get. Now there's, I think, yeah. So the first one is obviously the first discussion he has with Theoden and Gandalf. This is the second
Stay
time.
or ride.
And the next 2 are in Return of the King. Yeah.
Cool.
After Sauron's out of the picture.
Yeah. I remember at least one of those.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, he's a very, very interesting character. Tolkien gets a lot of mileage out of his use of this guy.
And that's the that catches us up to where they were. Wormtongue got in the tower. A few hours later, Theoden shows up, and then the rest is history, as they say.
That's right.
So Theoden and Gandalf have ridden off. I assume the next chapter is about Theoden and Gandalf's conversation.
No, they kind of skip over that.
Oh, never mind.
Next is them.
Is it everyone meeting Saruman?
Yeah, just about everyone goes to meet with Saruman.
Cool. This is the part where Saruman starts singing a song from the top of his tower.
No,
A great song.
this is the part where Tolkien shows us how bad gaslighting is.
Based. It's a good time.
Saruman, the gaslighter.
Yeah. The very last thing that happens in this chapter before we switch over into chapter 10 is Aragorn says, well, cool. When was that that pipe we came when was that? This is when we find out, you know.
That's right.
It's 2 years ago, right? Fairly recent. And he says, well, I didn't know that Saruman knew people in Hobbiton. I'll mention it to Gandalf. It's probably a little thing. He probably won't think much of it with all this on his mind, but I should probably say something. That line's going to age pretty poorly.
Yeah. Well, and to his credit, Tolkien also has him say, even if it's bad, there's nothing we can do about it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true. Like I didn't really appreciate till I was talking through it how much is being set up for not just catching us up on what happened, but also setting up the course of Saruman and Wormtongue's story going forward.
Yeah, we've seen it all throughout, and those little tiebacks. I mean, I think it's even with the Elrond thing. Is I wanted to send you 2 back, and now here Merry and Pippin are, and they've made it to Isengard, and now they're kind of reflecting back on how Saruman knows about Hobbiton, quite a lot about Hobbiton, presumably, if he's contracting with them to get their stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody does that, but Saruman is doing it. And then, we'll see it at the end of Return of the King, is that goes very poorly because there was no warning and Saruman did know about Hobbiton. But that's Wormtongue's choice as well. So we'll see where that ends up in a year and a half whenever we get to
it's all very
to the end of it.
interesting. Well, let's see.
It's not going to be a year and a half. But
No, it might.
It'll be a little bit.
Sort of like that.
especially if we're only doing one episode a week.
That's
It's
what I
going
was
to be
just realizing.
a
Yeah.
little bit longer. But that's easier for me. So
Yes.
that's what we're
I
doing.
suppose that's all right.
Fair enough. We'll have to come up with something to do in between Two Towers and Return of the King.
Yes.
We'll work on that.
We still got
work
a
on that
whole
later on.
Smeagol section after we finish up the first part of Two Towers.
Yeah, there's a whole chunk more.
Man,
So.
it's gonna be fun talking to you about all these Smeagolisms.
Smeagol is my favorite guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he makes funny noises. Did you know Smeagol was Caesar in the Monkey movie?
What? That's awesome.
A
Whoever
great
played that guy
movie.
must be a really awesome actor.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next episode,
All right.
where we read chapter 10, the voice of Saruman.